Hey, hey, hey. Time for another out of this world story from rSpace. Discovered wife's infidelity, need help. Evidence of paternity question. Me, 33 male, wife, 33 female. Marriage hasn't been great for a while. Really too many issues to go into, but yesterday I found messages between her and an ex-colleague which made it clear they were sleeping together. I'd had my suspicions before, and 6 months so even raised it with her, and she swore nothing had ever happened. To make it worse, the messages that I found placed a question on the paternity of our daughter. She's 18 months old, and the messages between the affair partner and wife were discussing getting a paternity test for who I thought was my daughter. I didn't suspect an affair was happening 2 years ago, but clearly if they think the daughter might be the affair partner's, then it's been going on longer than I realized. Obviously the marriage is now over, but I don't know if they got a test done, so my mind is now only thinking about this. I haven't called my wife out on what I discovered yet. I have screenshots and I'm almost too scared to. My daughter means the world to me, and the thought I might be losing a wife and a daughter at the same time makes me terrified. My soon-to-be ex-wife and I are both English, but I have lived in Dubai for the last couple of years. If it wasn't for my daughter, I don't think we would have lasted this long together. The thought of being divorced and then not seeing my daughter every day wasn't something I could contemplate, but now it's 10 times worse. Do I do a test myself first? Do I call soon-to-be ex-wife out on the affair first? Do I just ask if they did a test and what were the results? My head is in a spin and I'm completely lost. Would appreciate any advice and support from anyone right now. Update. Thank you so much for all the comments, everyone. I haven't had a chance yet to read them all, but it seems the overwhelming advice is to do a paternity test myself ASAP. I've ordered one already, so let's see what that says, and that'll help me see clarity with the next steps, I think. Thanks to everyone for the amazing support. I don't know any of you, but it feels like I now have people I can talk to, so thank you so much. Update. I've ordered a home paternity kit. I'm terrified of what the result is going to be, but know I need to have certainty on my daughter's paternity before I do anything else. I'm also going half mad. I've read the screenshots of the texts over and over thinking, is there a way that I'm misinterpreting what my wife and her affair partner are saying to each other? I can now see how talented she's been at manipulation, lying and gaslighting over at least the last 2 years. So I've no doubt when I call her out, she'll come up with some sort of alternative reality and make me think I'm mad for jumping to the conclusion I have. But every time I read the conversation, it seems 100% slam dunk to me. Here's the key extract. I wanted to know how you felt about having a test on daughter's name. A paternity test, you mean? Yes. Haha, just checking. I think it's a very good idea. I've wanted to ask you quite a few times, but didn't know how you'd feel about it. It's completely clear, right? Is this enough for me to have jumped to the conclusion I have? Need your support to make sure I'm not going mad while I'm on my own with this. I'm surrounded by family, and her still. But I haven't said anything and have tried to have a nice time, but one part of me just wants to get my phone out and show everyone the screenshot to make sure I'm not going mad. Thanks to everyone for their support. Bassycock has the first reaction. She's clearly asking a man, not you, to take a paternity test regarding you and your wife's child. In my opinion, it doesn't really get any clearer than that. Sorry, buddy. 19 tired of it all has the next thought. You're not crazy. Get the test done. Been in your shoes. The test results didn't come back in my favor. OP responds, sorry to hear you've gone through something similar. I wouldn't have wished this on my worst enemy. Little Law 3996 chimes in, please take a screenshot of the conversation. This could be very well a valid proof when it comes to paternity fraud. Your wife is such a disgusting human being. OP answers, yep, I've got a screenshot already. If I didn't, I'd be doubting myself so much right now and questioning if it was a bad dream. Last comment from K Osborne 40. No one would ask for a paternity test if they are 100% sure of the daughter's paternity. There is no other way to read that. They're suggesting he may be the father and laughing about it together. It's so casual it's sick. Your family and friends, cling to them. Your wife isn't your friend. Make plans aside from her. Your description sounds like she's emotionally abusive, and if you out everything right now, the ball's in her court and she can begin to confuse you. You're wondering if you're mad probably because she's incessantly told you that you are when you doubt her. You're not mad. You're seeing who she is. She's mad. Take time for yourself. Roll your eyes at her while she plays like everything is fine and plan your moves. Whatever she says, after reading that messaging, I wouldn't even care. Take care of yourself first. Moving on. Wife, 36 female, cheated on me, 35 male, after 10 years of marriage. Now suggests open marriage. Married 10 years. Our relationship is international, meaning we're from different countries and have lived in different countries around the world together, including her country and my own, because of my work. We both speak each other's native languages fluently. We have 3-year-old twins together. Since having kids, our sex life steadily declined. In the last year, we haven't had vaginal sex 2 times. Oral only a few times. Last year wasn't much better. She is rarely affectionate with me. I have never cheated, although she often accused me early in our relationship. For most of our 10 years, she didn't work or only briefly. When she did, it was jobs I found for her. I full-on created a well-paid career for her that she started 5 months ago. This is the longest she has ever worked. When I was off work for a period of time on disability leave for a neurological condition a few years into our marriage, years before we had kids and we spiraled deeper into debt, she didn't look for work. I earned money while mostly bedridden with a side business when I had energy. Since recovery, I continued a successful career, got us out of debt, traveled the world, etc. Not rich, but comfortable. I found out recently that she has been texting an ex-boyfriend for months at least. She would message him and immediately delete her message and replies. I caught her doing something similar, probably with someone else 18 months before, and have long suspected, especially when she traveled to another city with a girlfriend when we lived in another country, and she called his number there. That was 8 years ago. She said nothing happened, just visited an old friend while there. That call was at 2 a.m. They call one another baby. One day, I was home from work with a migraine and saw her sending messages to him offering to send him medicine for his headache, ignoring me. She went back to her hometown to visit family for a week during a national holiday and saw him during this time. I was left home with our children. I saw her messages that she was planning to see him there. She claims they didn't have sex. I don't believe her. I don't believe her because she lies and only admits the details I tell her I have specific proof of. I don't believe her because I'd confronted her that I wasn't comfortable with her having secret conversations with an ex-boyfriend that she's constantly deleting. She told me that sometimes he messages her, but she usually ignores it. That I might get the wrong idea, so she deletes it. She says she will stop talking to him. A few months go by, and I find she's been chatting with him almost daily when we're both at work, and deleting it before the day is done. This time, I recovered some messages. I confronted her. Same story. He messages me sometimes. We rarely talk. I told her that I knew about the daily contact. I'm lonely, like the attention, nothing inappropriate. I didn't meet him. I confronted her with the content of the messages and make it clear I know it's an emotional affair at least. She finally admits, but says there has been no sex, and that she's not interested in sex with anyone, not just me. I asked her if she saw him when she went back home. She lied and told me no. I confronted her with evidence that they'd planned to meet. She said, yes, we did, I'm sorry. I asked if they had sex. She said, no. I don't have proof to the contrary. Prior to confronting her, she suggested I go travel for a weekend to take some time off as a reward for taking care of the kids alone for a week while she was visiting family. She didn't know I knew at the time. I tried to change which day I'd travel, and she got upset. So I grew suspicious. After I confronted her and tell her about the evidence, she finally admits she is wrong and says she will stop contacting him. I recovered her messages. She told him she needed time to think about it, that it wasn't right to always carry on like this. He said, you need to think about those two? I assume he meant my twins. She said, maybe I can't see you. You shouldn't come back here. He said, my flight is tomorrow morning, the day she suggested I go traveling. He asked, translated, are you not firm on us? She then called him. I later confronted her on this. She was planning to bring him to my home, where my sons are? How many times had she seen him here? How many times had she seen him when she regularly went back home without me over the years? She said she wasn't planning to meet him here, and that she told him not to come. That she had never met him here. That this was a recent relationship, conveniently only beginning as far back as I have proof. She asked me to try to forgive her. Told me I can sleep with other women for my intimacy, sex needs. I told her I can't accept her sleeping with other men. She said she won't. I told her I don't want to sleep with other women. I want a committed marriage. I struggled for some time with this and decided to forgive her and give her a chance. We've been together for 10 years, after all. I owe it to her and my kids to try. I told her I'd work on forgiving her, but that if she did anything like this again, we would be finished. I then found out she's been using another chat app, downloading it as soon as we're apart and deleting the app before she gets home. I can't see any content of what's on there. I held on to that knowledge for a couple of weeks, hoping she would stop and that maybe it was an anomaly. This behavior has continued. I confronted her about that last night. You're still talking to him, aren't you? Now you're using chat app, downloading it when we're apart and deleting it before we get back together. She says she's not talking to him. She uses it for private conversations with friends because she knows I have a way to read the main chat app she uses. I have no more proof, and I can't get it with this app. She knows it. She could be full on with someone on there, and I'd have no way of knowing, so she doesn't feel the need to admit anything more than what I know. I don't believe her. I told her I want to leave. She says if I want her to leave, she will. She didn't beg, cry, fight, or show remorse. She asked me about the kids, that I can't handle them on my own. I said that I can. I have been the far more involved parent while she barely looks up from her phone. She said they need their mommy. I told her that she should have thought of that before making these choices. She says she won't leave me if I find other women, that she is committed to our family, that our relationship is different but strong. She clearly has no intention of stopping what she is doing and doesn't think she is doing anything wrong. She suggests an open marriage ostensibly to fulfill my sexual needs, but I think it's so that she can do whatever she wants guilt-free. Looking for a perspective on this, I wish our relationship could be loving, warm, loyal, and equitable. In hindsight, it was never equitable, loving only as long as I provided, and perhaps perceived as loyal as long as she could hide it. I don't know what to do. It seems the logical thing would be divorce, keep my kids and move on, but love is illogical. There are also my children to consider. Should I give open marriage a try just to keep my marriage alive? Should I end it now? I feel like an absolute fool. Our first response comes from Delta versus Epsilon. If you read through enough on Reddit, when a spouse suggests an open marriage after years of monogamous marriage, one way or another the marriage comes to an end, either immediately or slowly and painfully. Sounds like you've already endured your fair share of pain. You've fought for her. You've tried reconciliation with her. I only see one sane option here now. I'm sorry. OP responds, sounds like you've already endured your fair share of pain. You've fought for her. You've tried reconciliation with her. I only see one sane option here now. I'm sorry. Thank you for stating this with clarity and consideration. Sadly, I think you're right. Zach Taylor 05 chimes in, divorce this lying woman. She is definitely having sex with this guy. This affair partner is a piece of crap. Get an attorney as soon as you can. Try to get custody of your kids. The OP closes us out. Honestly, I don't think she'll fight for it. Kids will stay with me. I wouldn't have it any other way. She can't handle them on her own.